It is Seahawks week. And the domination the Seahawks have had against the 49ers since they moved back into the NFC West back in 2002 has been alarming. Hell, Pete Carroll's got a winning record against the 49ers. We're going to break all that down as Geno Smith and company come to Levi Stadium in a game that, you know what, Shasky, the forecast says there's a 60% chance that it's going to rain.
I mean, what's going on? Like, seriously, this is like a cartoon where, like, the clouds are following us everywhere we go. It's absolutely ridiculous. 4 in a row, Shanahan's lost to Pete Carroll. 13 of the last 16, the 49ers have lost to Russell Wilson
and Pete
Carroll. That's insane.
You know, Pete Carroll's 18-7 against the Niners. 18-7 all-time against the Niners.
It's really crazy.
And he's dominated. And the Seahawks overall, since they've moved back into the NFC West, they're 28-13 against the Niners. And they've had some big-time winning streaks against them as well.
I've told this story 18 billion times, but I'm going to tell it again because every time we play Pete Carroll, I think about it. He was running things at USC. And anybody on the West Coast, unless you have affiliation to UCLA or Cal or Stanford, like, for the most part, we all looked at the USC program in the early 2000s. We were like, it's pretty damn good.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty loaded. And you had a lot of respect for Pete Carroll because there was a down period after John Robinson for USC.
No doubt.
And I do believe
He flipped that program. He flipped that program.
Whether it was on the up and up or not, like, playmaker after playmaker after playmaker.
Some of the greatest college football teams I've ever seen with my own two eyes.
And I remember in about 2009, 2010, when the 49ers were looking for a new coach, maybe it was 2007, Pete Carroll spurned the 49ers. And you can Google this out, look at it up, you know. The York family was looking to find a head coach. And the rumor was, and this was before Bill's passing, that Bill Walsh, this is the rumor, had told Pete Carroll, don't go taking that 49er job. And he decided not to go to the 49ers. And it was right around the time Matt Leinart was going to either come back to school or he was going to go for the NFL draft. It might have been 05.
No, it was 05. He told Matt Leinart to come back, basically. Matt Leinart had won the Heisman Trophy, had won the Rose Bowl and the National Championship, and would have been a consensus #1 overall pick. He was on fire. And Pete basically was like, you know, you may not want to go to that dumpster fire, which the Niners were at that time. Let's be honest. They're a dumpster fire. New ownership changes. The Yorks trying to figure out what they're doing. Head coach after head coach, Nolan, Erickson, where are you going? And they basically told Leinart to come back to school. And think about how it hurt Leinart. Leinart went from being the #1 overall pick to being the 10th pick. I think he went behind Cutler and Vince Young, or Cutler could have went after Leinart, but he dropped.
Vince Young absolutely went to the Titans.
#3 overall.
To the Titans.
And then Leinart was either 9 or 10. Let me see here.
That was the Mario Williams draft.
Overall.
So that was Mario Williams, Reggie Bush,
Vince Young.
Yep. Wow, look at us.
Reggie Bush was amazing.
I remember arguing at Sigmund Stern Grove with the homies. I was like, this Mario Williams is going to be the dude. He'll be the #1 pick. And everyone thought I was crazy.
See, I thought the Texans messed up. And so, you know what?
The Niners in the Bush Bowl.
Yeah, but I saw this recently. I forget where I saw. I saw it recently where they said the Texans should have completely took Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush should have been the pick. I was a big Reggie Bush fan. He's one of the 5 best college football players I've ever seen.
I agree.
Tommy Frazier, Peter Warrick, Michael Vick, Reggie Bush is in that conversation.
He had I think we look back and we're like, bust. He had a solid NFL career.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree he would have played better in this era? Just like 10 years later, 15 years later?
In the spread offense, gun run, wide open one-on-one. He had a solid career, you're right. He had 1,000-yard season.
Very underrated.
1,000-yard season with the Dolphins, 1,000-yard season with the Lions. He played well. He's a Niner.
Well, he slipped at Edward Jones Stadium and then tried to sue them.
It was done. It was done after that. But back to Pete Carroll, because he basically spurned the Niners. And people forget he was the D coordinator for the Niners back in '95 when they lost to the Packers in the divisional round.
He was an assistant coach at some level for many years at different spots, and I know that he was part of the Bill Walsh coaching tree.
No doubt, he was. And he ended up getting the job with the Jets, ended up getting the job with the Patriots, and of course he was fired by New England. And that's when they brought in Belichick, and Belichick has gone on this run here. So,
well, and think about how many guys in any sport have won a national championship at the college level and then go on to the NFL or Major League Baseball or whatever it is and win a championship there. I mean, he is on a short list. Jimmy Johnson, him, Barry Switzer. I mean, it is not a robust group of people.
It's only 3 guys, huh?
I mean, off the top of my head, that's all I can think of.
Jimmy, Barry, Pete Carroll.
Definitely not Dennis Erickson.
No, it's not Dennis Harrison. He
And
didn't
it's
come
definitely
close.
not Urban Meyer.
He didn't come close. Urban Meyer didn't come
Larry
close.
Brown, Dante Wiley saying in the NBA, Larry Brown did that, and that is absolutely correct.
Kansas Jayhawks and then, of course, the Detroit Pistons.
And so what I'm getting at is that, for as much as I can't stand Pete Carroll, I've always had tremendous respect for him, and I know that when he plays the 49ers, his team will be so buttoned up and ready to go.
They will be
I don't
ready.
care who's on their roster. I don't care what it's looking like for either one of the teams. I mean, think about it. One of the few wins the Niners have gotten against Pete Carroll was in a monsoon at Levi Stadium with Nick Mullins at quarterback.
I'll never forget the game.
And Russ threw a dime late in that game.
He was unbelievable
down the
that
line,
game.
like 40-yard bomb that a wide receiver dropped.
Right. I'd never forget.
Remember
I'll never
that game?
forget because people were saying the Niners need to lose this game, and I was thinking to myself, no, you need to beat Seattle.
That was one of the most fun games I've ever been to.
But it was just like, you need to beat Seattle because they've beaten you up so many times in that game. What was it, 26-23 in the rain? That had snapped. Think about this. That is snapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That snapped a 10-game losing streak to Seattle.
Bonte, I remember taking Aiden, my little nephew, to the game. He wore shorts. And I go, bro, you know it's going to rain like crazy. I'm wearing a freaking full-on Tahoe snowsuit to this game. I have never been to a game where it rained that hard in my life.
Oh, yeah, well, I was dry.
Yeah, I remember. And the whole time you're texting me, I'm like, I can't even use my phone. It's soaking wet. Everything's soaking wet. I still have videos of Niner fans and their faces coming down those escalators and those stairs on how happy they were. And I know everyone tank. I don't care who you are. When you pay and you go to these games, you want to remember something. You want to have fun.
And I remember there was a lot of media people and a lot of casual fans saying, you need to lose this game.
Who haven't bought a ticket in a long time.
And it was just like, you know what? This culture needs a win against Seattle. Think about that. They had lost 10 in a row to Seattle, to your division rival. We always discuss the Rams' domination in the 90s where the Niners had won, 19 straight against the Rams? They won 10 straight against the Niners. It really beat them up since Harbaugh left. It beat them up through the top.
They've owned us.
Days.
Let's just say it.
28-13 since they moved back into the NFC West. They've owned the 49ers. Right now they're on a 4-game winning streak. And the heartbreakers that you lost, whether it was Russell Wilson, whether it's Pete Carroll chewing his gum, they love to beat the Niners. Last year at Levi Stadium, Niners are up 7-0, and they forced the Seattle Seahawks into 5 straight 3-and-outs.
They should have been up. That was such a frustrating game.
And you knew that game was going to flip because Quandre Diggs, one of the best safeties in football, comes up with an interception of Telegraph Jimmy, where he telegraphs one over the middle of the field, and they steal that game. Then they go up to Seattle. Remember how that ended? In the red zone. They lose these freaky games in Seattle. And here's the other thing, divisional games. This is not going to be an easy game against Seattle. This is going to be a body bag game. And they got to have a game on Sunday.
I'm scared beyond
I am so nervous about this game.
I can't believe that we've already, I'm at panic button situation already.
So panic meters back out for the Niners.
For my mental alone, I can't imagine the infrastructure that they've got to put in place for these guys not to feel and hear all of the chatter.
Oh my gosh.
The amount of chatter that I'm seeing. And the other thing is the reckless chatter.
Well, let's get to that.
Reckless chatter.
Let's get that in just a second because I want to get there. And it's getting nasty in these streets when it comes to the quarterback conversation. It's getting nastier than I ever even imagined. You said you underestimated it yesterday.
I did.
Yeah, it's the intensity on this quarterback situation has ratcheted up another 20 levels since Sunday when they lost to the Chicago Bears. But divisional games, you have to win. Last year, the Niners went 2-4 in the NFC West.
And
their only saving grace
so
was beating the Rams twice.
Yeah, and they lost to Colt McCoy at home.
At home. Remember that?
James Conner looked like the Terminator.
I mean, Colt McCoy threw a pass, a deep ball towards our end zone where we sit. And I said, damn, is this Roger Staubach? Who the hell is throwing that ball?
Who was the cornerback that got ran over? Drake Kirkpatrick?
You got the sound. Oh, my gosh. Drake Kirkpatrick. Eno Benjamin. Baby Chance was looking at that play, one of the few plays he paid attention to. And I said, damn. And I tried to come on the show because Matt.
On 2nd and 5, this is Eno Benjamin. A little hop step, and he struck Drake Kirkpatrick and takes it in for the touchdown.
Oh my goodness! Kevin Kugler.
When will the memorial service end for Drake Kirkpatrick? I feel like the candlelight vigil has been going on ever since.
I remember I had a talk with the boss because she needed to be more positive when it comes to Niners. Be more positive. So I was positive that Monday.
I was furious.
I was
watched that
positive
game
that Monday.
driving from Tucson to Phoenix to catch a flight on an iPad.
I was filling in, Bonte, not to cut you off that day, for Steven, and we played this highlight at least 50 times.
Yeah.
Benjamin.
And I
was furious that day, wasn't I?
The contact. We just isolated the contact. Ooh, like it felt like they were just getting
You were
punched in the
laughing at
stomach.
me.
Well, I was laughing at everybody because I said, look, they're only one game out of the playoff spot. Let's just throw it away. Throw the film away. They're going to beat the Rams the next Monday night. And the boss man was mad at me going, you weren't too passionate on that day. You were laughing and you were being positive. I was like, they're one game out of the playoffs. You want me to be positive or negative? I'm trying to balance it out. They just got roasted by Colt McCoy. I'm not going to lose my mind.
If we lose to Geno Smith at home, I don't care what the conditions are. It's gonna be so bad. I mean, oh boy.